this lady, Nadine, was actually won last year's competition. She was awarded the Coach of the Year and got this rather beautiful trophy to prove it, as well as a fantastic holiday for her and her family. But anyway, she's back because she's bettered her best again. So please give a warm CTCS Business Conference welcome to Nadine Honeybone.
Thanks, Dan. Wow, what a conference. Have you enjoyed the speakers so far? Yeah? Richard Wilkins, amazing. Okay, yes, as Dan said, last year I won the Better Your Best competition, and a few photographs there of our holiday that Dan sent myself and my family on to Venice, a 2.5-week cruise in a suite on one of P&O's best ships to Venice, which was absolutely fantastic. But this year, I'm really privileged to say I'm back on the stage, and I'm back amongst a number of contestants that you've seen, and I must say that every single one of those contestants is amazing, they're inspiring, and they thoroughly deserve to win. And I'm really proud to be able to call all of them best friends as well, which is something that you get from this mastermind group that I never really appreciated. It's the connection that you get with the people that you are working with. So what I'd like to do, first of all, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my story. For those of you who haven't heard me speak before, just to give you some background as to why I do what I do. First of all, I want to say to you that dreams do come true. This is a picture of my little boy when he was born back in December 2004. After 10 long years of trying for a family, a lot of IVF cycles, a lot of miscarriages, Tommy was eventually born with IVF back in December 2004. Like all children, he grew, he developed, he started walking by the age he was 1, and he started talking. And then around about 15 months, he stopped. He stopped talking completely. And his development regressed. He started withdrawing into a world of his own, and we couldn't communicate with him. After many visits to doctors, after many visits to doctors, paediatricians, we eventually ended up in the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, and Tommy was diagnosed with autism. For those of you who might have heard of the word autism but not quite sure what it is, just a very quick explanation. Autism is a spectrum disorder, which means that there are many people with autism that range from Canada's autism, which is really find it difficult to communicate and associate with this world, and they need support in everything, all of their daily life and all of the things that they do. Excuse me a minute. Through to the other end, which is called high-functioning autism, which means that somebody can live a normal life, get married, have children, but they find it difficult to perhaps communicate and socialize in this world. Essentially, autism is a neurological condition that affects the way a person communicates and relates to the world. There is no known cause for autism. Many theories, from it being something genetic, through to vaccines, through to being something that it's the environmental toxins that we are now living with in this world that's causing. There is no cure for autism, and there is no discrimination. It affects families across the world, regardless of financial status, geography, their religious beliefs or whatever. So how prevalent is autism? 20 years ago, there was about 1 in 10,000 children and adults being diagnosed. And you can see the figures there, they have ramped up significantly. Autism is now growing at an exponential rate in this country and worldwide too. And we're currently at a point now where there's about 1.5% of the population diagnosed with autism. And those are the people that are diagnosed. There's many more adults mainly out there that have some form of autism that are not diagnosed. Autism is now more prevalent today than childhood cancer, than AIDS and Down syndrome combined. And it's growing, it's still continuing to grow. And without a known cause, this is what's baffling a lot of the people out there. This is my little boy now. He's nearly 7, and this is a picture taken on the cruise that we went on this year. He's a very loving boy. He laughs a lot. In fact, his laugh is very, very infectious. And he loves lots of things that other children love. Yeah, he just loves a lot of things. But he also has very severe development delay. His mental age is around 2. he's still in nappies. He can't communicate. He just doesn't get the whole toilet training thing. He is quite tall. He's about here on me. He's quite solid built. And when he doesn't want a nappy on, then I usually get kicked in the face or something in terms of, you can't do what he doesn't want you to do with him. He has non-verbal communications, which means he cannot tell us what's wrong. He cannot tell us what he's thinking or feeling. And when he is in pain, there is no way of me knowing what's going on. He can be in tears, and I have just got no idea what's going on. In fact, sometimes it takes me a couple of hours to see that he might have burnt himself somewhere. He has a lot of sensory issues, which makes his system overwhelmed. You and I know how to process the information that comes through our 5 senses. He's not able to do that. This all leads to a lot of behavioural problems, as you can imagine, and as he's growing and as he is developing, this is starting now turning into aggression. So he is very capable of flooring me, of pinching, biting, and all sorts of things because he is so frustrated that he cannot communicate in this world. Okay, so why on earth am I on the Dan Bradbury stage talking to you about this? I joined Platinum 2 years ago, sat where you are now, and I decided to join. Dan talked about competitions. Back in March 2010, he set our group a competition of list building. So I said, right, I'm going to win this competition because I'm going to want that day with Dan that he was offering as a prize. I was a business coach and a life coach at the time. I managed to get a list of just over 3,500 in 1 month and won the competition, and that rapidly grew to over 13,000 people on my list within 6 months. Now, this list was people that added to my list, but they were from the autism community. Now, I was a business coach and life coach. So I thought, okay, I've got this fabulous list. I've won this competition. I've got a day with Dan. Now what do I do with them? So I had an idea back in April 2010 to launch something that was called the Autism Directory. And the Autism Directory is an online resource for families and parents and carers across the UK to signpost them to get the help that they need in dealing with their child with autism. We've got 9 categories of information that I won't go through now, but you can see what they are now, so they can easily find the resources that are out there to help them in their daily battle with their living with their child. It is a UK resource, and we've got coordinators now in most of the regions across the country. And that is shows you a little bit. It's this current website that we've got, but we've got a new one. It's been so popular and it's bursting at the seams now. So we've got a brand new website being built that gives us more functionality. But one of the key things about building a list, you can see we've got a sign-up box there, a free report that you can download if you sign up for that. Which is one of the ways that my list now grows automatically. It's over 18,000 now, and it grows by a couple of hundred each month without me having to do anything. There was a lot of PR about this idea that we had. That's a double-page spread in our local papers. I was on the front of a weekend supplement of our local national magazine in Wales. And all that led to me winning the Better Your Best competition last year. So that's brought you up to where I was last September. Okay, what happened then? Okay, I had this list. I've got the Autism Directory going, but I also had my business going as well. I was coaching in personal development, but I was also coaching business owners. I was running my own mastermind group for business owners as well. And I found that the challenge of living with a child with special needs, and one that's now starting to have behavioural challenges as well, meant that I just couldn't do it all. And being, a superwoman who doesn't want to let anything go, that I can do it all, it eventually got to me and I had to give something go. So what was I going to choose? Was I going to choose regular income and continue with my business, or was I going to follow my passion and support these families with autistic children across the UK? That would mean I have no income. That would mean a brand new venture for me. Also, I was facing the problem that I was not being taken seriously as a charitable organisation without being registered. It means that you can't get access all of the funding that you might want to. I wasn't known in this industry. I got a list, but I wasn't known, and I had no experience. So I had to question, why is it so important to support autism families? based on my own experience of this and based on the people that were now connecting with me from the list, I figured there was a couple of reasons, but I went through them. First thing that why we're needed, the stress on the family unit is amazing. From the relationship strains it brings within the family to the financial problems that you have as well. We were told we were lucky that Tommy was diagnosed when he was 2 because early intervention is key. That early intervention meant an 18-month waiting list for speech and language therapy. So we did the only thing that we could and went private for that. And that's just not the only example of that. Yeah, you had to pay a lot of finances, a lot of money out to do a lot of things that we wanted to. You'd do anything for your child, wouldn't you? The infrastructure that we have in this society, the schools, the healthcare, the councils do not understand autism. The health centre, the doctors, the teachers do not understand it, and that makes it very difficult when you're fighting for the resources for your child when they don't understand what it is that you're dealing with. Autism is an invisible disability. You cannot tell by looking at anyone whether or not they have autism, but it's their behavioural aspects that you soon find out. And Tommy has got many behaviours that when we're in Tesco's, for example, he would just be seen as a naughty child and me as a mother who just can't discipline her child. Yeah? He doesn't know that when we walk into a cafe and there's a chocolate cake on someone's table, that he can't have that. Okay? He is still in nappies. He doesn't realise that putting your hand down your nappy when you've done a poo and spreading it over your face in the checkout in Tesco's is not the right thing to do. Okay? And as you can imagine, as a mother who experiences this, well, I've learned to deal with it now. You know, it's all in the day of a life of having a child with autism. But the general community, the general public, don't look at it that way. So there's those challenges. Numbers are increasing. The resources are not. There are not enough teachers that understand it. There are not enough therapists out there. The resources are so stretched now that every family has to fight to actually get the resources that are required for their children. Children are punished for being different. And the wonderful Richard Wilkins has said, you know, this society makes it not okay to be not okay. And that is not okay. Yeah? The whole thing about being normal and being not accepted because you don't fit into that mold is that called normal. Just makes it very, very difficult for people to grow up in a society that have any form of special needs. And what does the future hold? Will they live independently? Will they find love, get married and have children? I don't know. I know that from my specific experience, Tommy will need 24-hour care for the rest of his life. But who will do that when I'm not here? Do I leave it to social services to do that? Or do I have to find a way now to make sure that his future is secured and his care is actually secured? So I had, oh, sorry, before I go on to that, very quickly, this is just an example of some people that come to me. This is what I fear. This lady's daughter was 17, taken away from her by authorities. She was non-verbal, withdrawing. She keeps signing home and signing for her cats, and they wouldn't let that daughter go home. This is one of the battles that we face, and this is something that I fear. Sometimes it gets too much, and the stress is all too much. And this was, I don't remember, on the BBC, there was a lady who actually killed her son because she couldn't deal with it. Now, this was very close to home. Yvonne lived a couple of doors away from us, and Glenn went to school with Tommy, so this is very close to home. The judge actually said that she'd been punished enough, and they didn't send her to jail. I must rush, sorry, I've got only a few minutes left. So there's no question I had to do this. We launched the directory. We got more publicity with one of our local MPs launching it. And building it up now, I've done this is the technical part, through mainly joint ventures, a great way of building a business very quickly. Interviewing the celebrities in your industry by association, you know, increases your exposure and your profile. I've done many speaking gigs. I've spoken at the Damsels. I've also spoken, I was invited to speak on the Autism World Tele Summit this year amongst a lineup of very, very high profile and known people in this industry, and I was, you know, very delighted to be one of those in that list. Through storytelling, email marketing and networking, we've had key sponsors join us. We've got loads of free stuff like free laptops and lots of people helping us. And we launched, one of Dan's great ideas was to launch a founder membership scheme, which we did, and we managed to sell the last 25% in 6 days after something Dan said to us at the meeting in August about deadlines. So where we've come from there is this was, we got on the BBC News, which is a great link to have, from the BBC linking into your website, great for Google and rankings. We got covered by the BBC News. I was actually nominated for an Inspire Wales Award nationally across the country. That picture there was me, you know, when they do the awards dinner and the nominations and the envelope. And I didn't win that category, unfortunately, but it was just brilliant to have been nominated and be one of the finalists there. And this is the last project that we're doing now, is can we make Cardiff, which is where I'm from, the first autism-friendly city in the UK? What we're doing as a charity now is that we're connecting businesses with the people. We give free training to people in autism awareness. We give them an autism-friendly mark when they pass that. We list them on the directory. We can promote them, which means that people and families with autism can actually start to go out to businesses, cafes, coffee shop, restaurants, knowing that that business understands their child. So I managed to tick off a few of those things this year. We have an income, though it's not personal. I cannot take a penny out of this. I'm a trustee of this charity. The new venture's gone. I am now known as an expert in this field, and I have the experience. Not taken seriously was one thing that I really wanted. I wanted this charity registration. And this email came through this week. We have registered charity status. The Charities Commission, thank you. The Charities Commission has given us that state, and that is not easy to do, but I won't go into that now because I have no time. This is still my dream, to have autism centres up in the UK on the high streets. I cannot do that without Dan's support. Part of this prize is another year's membership with Dan, and I want to work with Dan for another year to actually start making this reality. My future is Tommy. I need to secure his future and secure his care. I can't change him for the world, but I can change the world for Tommy. Thank you for listening.